how has the emphasis on certain crops brought about changes in cropping patterns in recent past? Elaborate the emphasis on millets production and consumption. I felt the questions asked in GS3 were more on the lines of what was going on currently, because since millets was very much in news, not only for its benefit for the environment, but also for its nutritional value. So the first part is, how has the emphasis on certain crops brought about changes in the cropping pattern in the recent past? So the point which I had mentioned in MSP as a passing reference, I felt this was a question where I could elaborate entire thing. So how has the emphasis? I opened the answer that by the Green Revolution that was taken, by the Green Revolution, the emphasis of the crops was on wheat and rice, which specifically had HYV seeds and which were also given MSP. So the entire focus, in the introduction I tried to mention how the focus of the farmers went into this, and then I tried to elaborate, since this was the very first part of the answer, how has it changed the cropping pattern? Then I elaborated, and then I also tried to mention the negative impact, like the environmental impact. For example, sugarcane. See, sugarcane also is a very water guzzling crop, and it's very much in Maharashtra and other areas. So I tried to mention that how emphasis on certain crops, since government provides specific subsidy of a sugarcane plantation, etc. There also environment takes a big hit, and other such negatives. For example, lack of diversification of diet. One point that also came to my mind was the micro deficiency in the Indian population. Micro deficiency of nutrients. Deficiency of, to be very precise, deficiency of micronutrients. And this also could be connected to the emphasis on specific crops. Moving to the second part of the answer, elaborate the emphasis on millets production and consumption. So whatever you can write about the changing emphasis is only in the first part, because the second part entirely in millets. And since millets was so much in news, there was a lot of, since what comes under a millet, jowar and bajra and other such crops, chickpea that are there, not exactly chickpea, some millets that are there, those names which were coming into my mind, I just substantiated in my answer. And millets production in the second part, I first introduced what is a millet and how it is a very sturdy crop. Even in very harsh environmental conditions, it can survive. Since it's elaborate the emphasis, I just mentioned how and why the emphasis on millets is being provided. And consumption. The second word mentioned is consumption. And here is the scope where I also mentioned how millets were also very positive for the consumption purposes, because they had all the nutrients. And especially in context of urban India, this point I felt was important. I suitably concluded the answer by mentioning that there has to be a diversification of diet and diversification of what crops the farmers are producing, and that should be incentivized by agricultural marketing support by the government. So if MSP is equally are provided for millets, or if the government is providing support, then farmers could migrate to producing millets.